have got an absolute passion about service. You know, what can we do better for the customers? It's almost, I'm hearing echoes of Richard Branson as well. It's all about sort of making sure that this experience of our customers, be it technology, explaining to the driver.
It's not difficult. You know, I eat out, as you know. Now, I've said to waiters before, I said, how's the ceiling? Okay, I saw you checking out earlier. How's the floor? Is it looking good? Okay, so in between those two areas, there's me. Now, have a look at me, because I'm here and I want service. And it is a wind-up. When you go into a restaurant, next time you go in, just having these people looking around, you know? And instead of you see every now and again a waiter who actually knows what he's doing and actually casts his eye line across the people and has a look. Because, you know, all you really need to do in a restaurant, in a good restaurant, is just go like that. That means you want something. You don't have to shake or click your fingers, jump up and down. You just have to move your head slightly. Good restaurants will come to you just like magic. And it defies belief how anybody can run a business based on customer service when they're looking at ceilings and floors. And it's management. It's training and management. That's the important part. It isn't about, I mean, if I look at things that are wrong with Addison Lee, I look at me, it's my fault. It's my fault. I don't try and delegate blame. It's not what I do. It's my fault. I didn't spot it. I should have spotted it. As big and as complex as we are, it's still my fault. I've got to get busy, know where to look, and that if I don't do that, things can get lax, and it's my job to make sure they don't. So it is something that if you grow a business, you do get a knack for knowing where to look. You get vibes for things that are not right, not wrong. You know, you do. And sometimes, if people are a bit reticent about speaking to you, it's either because they're shy or because they've got something to hide. I always look at that, and I'm always concerned about people who don't like to talk to me or be in my company or be in the office, and I can see them, you know. Some of them go out for a fag, and you can see when they come back in there, they go, it's not, hello, Mr. Griffin, it's, hold on, I've just been out for a fag. And it's body language. And that is true of a great deal of the detail of business. And, you know, sometimes I worry about people that have this attitude. What is it that's troubling him or her?
Interesting. Well, talking about people, recruitment, it leads into recruitment quite nicely, because I imagine you're recruiting drivers, you're recruiting people, but for you to replicate and for you to scale up as you have done, I mean, we've got John Griffin, but it sounds like other people in your organisation and the drivers have got to live your DNA and your philosophy. So I genuinely have been, I'm an Addison Lee account holder, and I have had many journeys with Addison Lee, and I can honestly hand on heart say I haven't had a bad experience. On the opposite, only good experiences. And so it's almost like, you know, you've got one car in your company that comes to collect you, because there's so much effort on the driver being courteous, the car being clean. But how do you manage to scale that up so that if I've got somebody down the road, they're going to have the same experiences as somebody?
You do, well, there's a big training issue. We have a training school. That's something we do, you know, that's part of it. I think, to be honest with you, I think that pride in what they're doing is what we try and, you know, give them. We want people to be proud to work. You know, in the old days, they were a minicab driver. It was just a minicab driver. They didn't treat the job as a career. They weren't really that interested. I'm doing it between jobs. I'm really a genius, but I'm actually minicab driving during this period of my life. And now today, it's a career path. Now today, it's a different. See, the people that are coming in today come in for the long term, and they say, this is what I'm doing, and I'm happy to be doing it. And those sort of people, they're easier to train, and they're easier to instruct. So you can teach these people, this works, right? Do it. And if it doesn't work, come and tell me. And what they've found out is that some of the stuff we go, which at the beginning they're a bit iffy about, you know, after a while they, you know what, this is working. This does work. You know, it's ISOs. You know, ISOs came into the business world, and most of us looked at them and thought they were a load of rubbish, health and safety rubbish. But the truth of the matter is that as you get deeper into it, you begin to think, you know what, this puts structure into the business, and it works. And it isn't just, you know, something that we don't need. It is actually helpful. And so we've now gone down that path, you know, of training people up and making them feel. We present their certificates and we have photographs taken. They take it home to their wives or their girlfriends, and It's all about self-esteem. You know, inside everybody there's talent and there's good things, but it's having the confidence that that is the case. And that sometimes, if you can do that to somebody, you'd be surprised. Yeah. Once upon a time, when I was at school, I was in detention. Now, I have no idea why, but I was in detention most nights. However, this teacher said to me one night in detention, the teachers had a rota for looking after detention. They said, Griffin, well, every time I'm on, you're in detention. I said, I know, I can't work it out myself. And he said, let me tell you, he said, you've really now got to start changing your, whatever you're doing that brings you every night, don't do it. Because one day you're going to be somebody. And I thought he had a punchline, you know, like I was going to be a clown in a circus or something. No punchline, just that statement. And do you know what? It actually resonated in my head that this bloke said that. It was just a bloke that I respected, and I knew he was serious. And it really, you know, it carried me, if you understand. It really mattered to me. And years after that, he'd retired from teaching, and Addison Lee was successful. I decided to go and find him. So when I found him, he had MS in a wheelchair. So I brought him to my house, introduced him to my family, and showed him my swimming pool and all the bits. And it was a really big moment for him, you know, and the two of us, you know, I thanked him and he thanked me, and it was just a great moment. But it is something that I think people sometimes underestimate themselves. It is something we tend to do, you know, if you're not successful and there's this bloke with this big car and big house and big everything, you tend to think you're really not as good as you are. And it's very important to believe in yourself, because no one else is going to believe in you if you don't believe in yourself. But self-belief is a big deal. And I think that I try and encourage people when I talk to them to try and consider that they're as good as anyone. Start there and build on that, because people, through circumstances or whatever it might be, home life or other, they do feel less about themselves than they should. And that's something that, you know, where I can do, that's what I do. If I can kind of get somebody and try and mould them a little bit and do for them what the teacher did for me. You know, it's surprising how such a small thing can have such a big difference. You know?
That's beautiful. That's a beautiful story. Because I think also it's a little bit like what you mentioned right at the beginning about sort of, you decided you didn't want to cook, but you don't enjoy it. You're not that good at it.
Yeah.
You know, somebody found a talent in you, identified it, and has allowed you to sort of. It's almost like that's what leaders need to do, is to identify the talent and let that talent grow within that individual, and then they'll be loyal to you for life.
Yeah, I think business is a team thing. You know, you do need these people around you, and it's being able to spot those people. You know, I mean, we have people come in from all sides, you know, from all backgrounds, and every now and again you can see somebody who's quite driven, quite ambitious, and focused. You know, this person comes to work to go to work, and when you see that, you think to yourself, you know, they make all the signs that they're ambitious, they want to get on, and I think that's excellent, and I can read that in people. You know, and I want, you know, I've got a chap at the moment who we're just examining. By that I mean we're just keeping an eye on him, because I think this boy's got real talent. He's never been in the business, but he has got that way about him. He cares about what he's doing. It's a big thing, you know, and I tend to concentrate on those people and to see if I can promote them, see, because good is good. That's how I see it. I don't think there's good at one thing and bad at another. I just think good people are good at things, are good at everything, you know? And I just think people are no good, are no good, are no good. You know, whether it's because they're when it comes down to it, I can only do so much for them. But if at the end they don't want to play, this isn't their game, then I've got to move on. But there are people out there who really want to achieve. People like me, the white tornado. When I wanted it badly. And it was for my sons, and I wanted them to have a father to be proud of. That was my ambition, and I was driven by it. And I like to think that I empathise with people like that. They're the people that I look at and think, you know what, you're my man, you're my woman, you are the person that I was, let's go.
I love that. Where do you think, do you think that drive lies dormant in everybody? I mean, you come across some people that are living and breathing that drive and the white tornado, as you say, other people that are just somewhat more lackadaisical. Do you think that somebody who's lost that drive, is that?
I think it's a, listen, I wasn't driven the whole time. You know, I wasn't this, 16-year-old kid going out selling Matchboxes, you know. It wasn't like that with me. It really wasn't. Everyone's different. I just kicked off when my son was born. It just kicked it off for me. It just changed things for me. You know, prior to that, I'd been a DJ, I worked on the Italian Job in Turin, a film, I worked for the Beatles, I did all sorts of funny stuff. But I was enjoying my life, you know, I didn't take it seriously. And then I got married, and then 9 months later I had a son. And it just changed me. I just decided, you know what, I'm going to go down another route now. And it was just that I've been fairly ambitious. I always remember somebody saying to me that if you want to make money, work for yourself. And that, as simple as it is, you know, that's an important message. You know, because that's how you make money. But it's tougher, it's riskier, but in the end, it's the path to success. You've got to take it on your own, and on your own's a lonely game. But at the same time, you know, I would say that anybody with ambitions should give it a go once. Have a go. You'll learn a lot from it. But it might not be for everybody. Some people say, look, you know, there's a lot to it. All the wages, the pay as you earn, you know, all the stuff that they just don't want to get involved with. But really, you know, it is a fact that to make real money, you've got to do it yourself.